Mark, I suppose I'll get the elephant out of the room first. Obviously, you played for him, and I suppose a sorry end in the end for Warren, given the years that he's been over with Wales.
Yeah, I just think we just need to remember Gats for the 4 Six Nations titles and the 3 Grand Slams and the semi-finals, don't we? And the impact he had on the Welsh team when he took over, for the next 10, 15 years. So, yeah, it's unfortunately, it's like the old saying, all good things, they do come to an end, and sometimes they don't end as positively as you would have liked. But look, he's put his heart and soul into it over the years, done the best he possibly can, and it's run its course. And obviously now, let's hope the next guy gets the similar type of success, because we'd be pretty happy, I think, if we're turning around in 10 or 15 years' time and we've got, the type of success that Gats has had over the years.
You're probably, like everybody, wishing Matt well in the 3 games that he's got. But, I mean, if you put yourself in that position, that's a baptism of fire, isn't it, Mark? Given, he was on the training pad, I guess, with Cardiff.
Yeah, look, firstly, it's great for Matt. What an opportunity, Coach Wales. It's a hell of a privilege, being a passionate Welshman. It's an amazing job. He'll have great people to work with. The players will be hungry to get stuck into his philosophy and his ideas. So, firstly, well done to him. But as you say, it will be a challenge because he hasn't even picked the squad of players, really, is he? He's inheriting a group of players that was selected by somebody else, and he's going to have a vision in sort of 4 training sessions on how he wants the game to be played and how he thinks Wales can set the boys up to win. So it's really difficult, but he'll be excited by it. He obviously will, he's thought it through. As much as it's a short space of time, he's thought it through and he thinks he can help. So good luck to him, and we'll be supporting him as regional coaches as best we can.
I mean, you've been there, you've had that hat on, because obviously you stepped in in 2013. You know what it's like.
Yeah, it is. I got seconded in to support Rob Howley, as it was at the time, and they were coming off the back of some pretty poor results when I went in there. So as you can imagine, I can feel the symmetry a little bit around Matt and what the challenge is. But what an opportunity! And look, that campaign ended up a really successful one. So we ended up I think we won it on that particular occasion. So. That's not up for grabs at the moment, but I definitely think Matt can have a positive impact on the group, and I'm sure the players will be excited about getting stuck in and trying some new ideas out.
Again, an elephant in the room question: is it a job that you harbour?
Oh, look, I'm loving my role here at the moment at the Ospreys. I've been given a big task here to support this team in the future, and I'm comfortable and happy in my own role. And the Welsh job's an amazing job for somebody, and I'm sure that they'll find the right person to do that role over the coming months.
But in the future, possibly, I'm not talking in the near future. That obviously is an ambition of everybody. I would have thought a young up-and-coming coach like yourself.
Yeah, I think coaching Wales is a huge honour. As I said at the start, it's a huge honour. It's a massive job, and as players, you want to play at the highest level, and as a coach, you want to coach at the highest level. And Wales and other international teams is part of that journey. But like I say, I'm really, really happy with my current role. I'm excited about what I'm doing here. I feel invested here. I want to support the group we've got here until the end of the season and into next season and the coming season. So look, that's where my focus is, and like I say, supporting Matt in between.
Just the last one on this. I'm sure everybody agrees this is just a small component, really, the Welsh coaching job, albeit a huge one. But there's a grander picture in everything, in the jigsaw that needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that the board have been working behind the scenes with themselves and with the regions and trying to come to a new agreement. And obviously that's another strand to the puzzle. And the pieces are all scattered out a little bit at the moment, aren't they? And we just need to get a big picture view, I think, from the WRU around what they want Welsh Rugby to look like. And then, myself as a regional coach, I can look at what the pieces I'm holding and how I can help put those pieces together for the best of Welsh Rugby. And I think once we see what that looks like, we can all start aligning those pieces, as you mentioned, so that everybody in Welsh Rugby is clear on how we get back to where we deserve to be, which is like competing in every game and competing to win stuff.
In terms of the Ospreys, you've obviously had a positive impact. You haven't lost since Montpellier. What's changed in that period?
I'm not sure. I think we've got a good group of players who have been really open to some of the changes that I've tried to do with the coaches and with the group. We're excited about the way we're trying to play the game. The players have made it easy, and been open around that. We've had a couple of players back from injury, which obviously supports the depth of our group as well. It allows us to train harder. It allows us to have more competition in training, which drags more out of you, and obviously you have more competition for places, which brings a bit of edge, and it actually forces players to be at the top of the game, because you can change the squad round when you've got depth. So there's been a bit of everything to it, but I think I'm excited about it. There's going to be a challenge for us to keep it going, but also there'll be a challenge when perhaps the performances don't quite marry up to what they've been, or the results don't, and that'll be a challenge. So look, we're just taking it one step at a time. We've got a massive challenge ahead of us this weekend, but what an exciting one.
Tries on a lack of, you identified something you wanted to improve, and we saw that, didn't we, Benetton and Paul before, where you had to chance your arm, especially in France in that last quarter where they came back.
Yeah, I think the plan was always to score the tries. Probably, as we said, Poe dictated the narrative out there. They got on top physically, they got the penalty count going at scrum time, and we couldn't really get possession of the ball to be able to play our game. But I think as the game went on, we got more of a foothold, and we were able to execute the plan we took. The plan against Newcastle was always to really move them around. The boys did an excellent job in that game, and then the Cardiff one was a little bit different. We had to go a little bit back to our DNA there because of the red card, and we had to drop a number, so we weren't able to move the ball as much there. But look, the positivity around our last fixture with Benetton, that was probably a little bit more of the all-court game there. We had a good driving game. We had some nice work around our attack, but our defence was really good in that game as well. And I think one thing probably that I did mention to the group, and the coaches have been mentioning to the group, is we don't want to be sacrificing what teams associate with us, which is a strong defence and a strong set piece. Attacking tries can't come as a result of those areas dropping off. We've got to maintain those and keep improving those whilst adding more tries to our try count, which we've been doing so far. But obviously, the next couple of games, that's going to challenge us even more so.
This time is always, I suppose, it's a tough time for coaches, given players are coming and going. There's 3 weeks between some of the fixtures, but it can be a time that defines your season as well. In the business end, and Leinster, of course, they can field a B or a C side. That's their strength.
Yeah, look, it's the quality of the Leinster team never changes. It's the names on the team sheet that change. The next guy in, probably 3 deep, is in theory as good as the first guy. He's just got a slightly different skill set, or his strengths lay in a different area, or his weaknesses lay in a slightly different area. And I think that's the challenge when you play the best teams. They've got great depth. They've got a good culture in there. They've got a competitive culture, and with a few injuries, they don't generally drop down any levels. But look, we've got 18 guys unavailable ourselves, and have done for quite a while with the internationals and injury. And we're pretty proud of the way we've played over the last 6 weeks. And our challenge is to keep, repeating and improving on what we've done in the last game. And that'll be our challenge on Friday night. It's not playing the Leinster team. It's actually, we've got to reach our level. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who you play. You'll be in for a tough night. So we're talking around ourselves in particular. We've given Leinster the respect they deserve around their game. We've looked at them in detail. But certainly the latter part of the week, we've drilled really deep into ourselves and what we need to produce on Friday night, not over-emphasising our thought on Leinster.
During the fallow weeks, we usually ask the regional coaches, that is, if you're expecting players back from Wales. I mean, that's I suppose, even more difficult question to ask now, given the last 24 hours. Is there anyone coming back, or I'm trying to think?
Yeah, I always try to communicate with Warren and his team, since I've sort of been in that position myself, about early communication around who they're thinking about coming back. And we've got some clarity now with who it is and who we've got. And Sam Parry and Ben Warren came back into us on Monday, so we've built the week around those guys, trying to support them, because we started our Leinster preparation, as you said, in the fallow week. So it's been getting those guys up to speed, making sure they're happy with their roles in the match day 23, and then you know making sure that they feel comfortable in the group. But I got to say, the players who have been here with us in the fallow week have done a great job setting them up, making sure they get the information they need, and the coaches have been class as well, connected with them offline and away from here. So look, we're chuffed to have those boys back, and we're pretty pleased with the group we got to pick from.
Injury wise, Mark, are you okay?
Yeah, as I said,
people coming back as well.
Yeah, we've got a few that are coming back into training, but nothing more to add around the selection front. It's picking as is from our last game, really, with the international boys I just mentioned. But there are a few boys improving, and we're hoping that we'll get them around our rugby in the next fallow week. And then Glasgow, there might be an opportunity for some players to come back into contention. But if I'm honest with you, we're making the team, trying to get the team to be difficult to get into at the moment. And whilst we want to bring players back and give them an opportunity, we also want to reward the players for their performances. And yeah, we will give opportunity if we feel that it's the right thing to do, but we want them to force their way back into the team. You know, as the guy picking the team, you know, I want you to hold your hand up and say, pick me, and have some evidence to show it, because, you know, competition, you know, breeds a great environment.
One of the long-term absentees is Dewi Lake. How is he shaping up? And because there was a school of thought that he may be back sooner than expected.
Yeah, I think with Dewi, obviously they selected him in the squad, and he's been training up in the squad more recently, since coming through the initial sort of operation and rehab phase with us. My understanding is he's in and around rugby, started throwing again, at what he certainly was last week. And I think the idea is that, you know, they want to safely return him to rugby, and if there's an opportunity to involve him in the Six Nations, I think both parties are, you know, open to that, but it has to be, you know, with him ticking the right boxes, ticking the physical markers, and making sure we set him up to succeed. It's not just a case of getting him on the team sheet. We want him to be able to get on the team sheet and actually be fit, safe, and in good form to be able to turn out for Wales.
So he's progressing well then. He's sticking along.
Yeah, as far as I know, we were hoping that he could be around rugby for the last 2 games of the Six Nations. And I suppose what I haven't had the update on is whether he's still on to hit those markers. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that last week he'd started his throw-in, and that was on track.
Yeah. I just wondered, has there been any conversation, obviously, you know, given what's happening with Wales, you know, Jack's a young captain. We all know his potential, how much of a talisman he is, but given what's happened, you know, it would be quite natural for that to affect anybody as captain. I just wondered, it's tough on him as well, isn't it?
Oh, it is. You know, Dan Edwards the same, you know, just not to bring down, you asked about Jack there, but Dan Edwards has, you know, had a change of coach at regional rugby this year. He's gone into the international camp, and now he's had a change. So, like, it's not just Jack, it's the whole group's going to be challenged. It'll be the first time for a lot of those players in that squad to have a change of coach mid-campaign, for example. So it's happened to me when I was, you know, many moons ago. And, you know, you do actually think, well, what does this mean for me? You know, the last head coach has been the guy that capped me. He selected me in recent games. The new head coach might decide that, you know, I'm not for you. So I think those questions are natural. But to go back to your question around Jack, such a level-headed guy, so mature, he will adapt, and he will shape himself, and he'll be the support that he needs to be for the new head coach, and he will also be the support he needs to be for the team. You know, and ultimately he'll do what he does best, which is he'll bring his A game to every game he plays in, and that's leading from the front. So I'm sure he'll deal with it really well.
Just wanted finally to ask you about Morgan Morse, someone I've seen more so on an under-20 level. He still qualifies, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
It's bizarre that he's played, 3 seasons for the 20s already.
Yeah.
He looks a special talent in what he can do on the field. There aren't many have got that anticipation, which he seems to have. He could go far. Obviously, we don't want to build him up, but he's a special talent. But I am anyway.
Yeah.
But no, he you know what he can do. He's a special player.
Look, we've got a lot of guys that are particularly talented here around that sort of age profile. I know he is probably the next crop. You know, we've got the Harry Deeveses who are a little bit before him. Jack probably a little bit before that. Morgan Morris is just probably coming out of that now into more of a, you know, a top regional player, consistent regional performer. So, you know, we've got a lot of young boys here that are like ready to take off if we can continue the growth for them and keep supporting them, you know, in the Ospreys around their rugby, around their conditioning, around their, you know, their diet, nutrition. Like we're trying to grow the environment here. We can provide a better service for these boys, and the better we can, or the better service that we can, the more these boys are going to accelerate. And the Morgan Morses of this world, like you say, he's got natural talent. So we've got an obligation as a coaching group and an Ospreys region to support him in the areas where he needs to be developed. You know, we always try, or I always try to focus on their strengths. We want to select them on what they're great at, not what they can't do. But the facts are, you have to keep chipping away at the little deficiencies in their games, because the opposition are going to be trying to pick on those things when they play against them. So it's very much that 80-20 focus on what their strengths are, and we're very much like that with Morsey. But we're also conscious he's a young guy in a young team, a young squad, and we need to support him and bring him through at the right speed. And he at the moment is doing a great job for us. When he started and when he's come off the bench, he's been really, really good. And like, we're chuffed for him. He's a great professional, and like it's a privilege for us to have him in our environment, and privilege for us to have produced him from our environment, you know.